current fiscal year, we have not been able to pay the 10% mandated for the law enforcement.
Acting Administrator of the Courts Robert Cruz provided Judicial Council members with the current dilemma. The third branch of government anticipates running out of money before the end of the fiscal year if they were to implement Public Law 29-105. The measure mandates 10% raises up to 40% for law enforcement throughout the government of Guam, including marshals and probation officers. Personnel actions were cut for the raises, but there's just no money because the mandate never came with an appropriation. The predicament has left the court to develop several options.
The 32-hour work week was essentially, we've been working with these hours, and that would really mean a 20% across the board salary cut from the Chief Justice all the way to facilities, including marshals and probation. Or you have the 36-hour work week, which is essentially a 10% cut across the board for all 350 employees.
Other options included a 10% across-the-board pay cut with staff continuing to work 40-hour work weeks or deferring the law enforcement adjustments so there would be no cuts to hours or salaries. Chief Marshal Ed Tovis and Acting Chief Probation Officer John Ujoa told council members they surveyed their staff and the majority were in favor of implementing the third 10% increase, saying they simply want what is rightfully and statutorily mandated to be theirs.
So based on the survey, 51% of the probation officers feel that the 10% needs to be paid out. The remaining 41%, there are 41% who would prefer to defer it with an understanding in writing that the probation officers will get the 10%, be it the third 10% increment as well as the fourth in the next fiscal year budget.
The survey wanted to convey was the outstanding 2009 second 10% retroactive from October to November is still outstanding. So if you consider that as well, we'll request for additional funding.
After some discussion about other cost-cutting measures and other options that wouldn't negatively impact the entire judiciary, Chief Justice F. Philip Carbolito made a motion to defer the increases and keep operations status quo, at least for now.
We'll still come back to the council in reference to this compromise and show of good faith to our employees that we're not just ignoring the obligation, we're just not ignoring their circumstance, but we will then bring to the council the implementation of a 32-hour work week for the last payroll in the fiscal year in exchange for funding that one quarter.
While law enforcement at the court won't be seeing their 10% raises, they, along with the rest of the judiciary, will be getting retroactive pay for the government's brief implementation of the Hay study from October of last year to January when the governor suspended the program. The Judicial Council today approved a resolution after receiving the funding to pay the Hay study to all of the court employees. Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Mindy Egan.